Hello everyone, welcome back to the session of Material Science. Myself Rahul Mane, I am working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, KK Wag Institute of Engineering Education and Research, Nasik. Today I will discuss unit number 6, that is nanotechnology. In previous units, we have discussed the dielectric material, insulating material, conducting material and magnetic material, and also their applications in electrical engineering. Now, in this session, I will discuss the properties and applications of nanomaterial in electrical as well as electronics engineering. Learning outcome. At the end of this session, a learner will be able to find out the properties and applications of different nanomaterials in electrical and electronics equipments. Content. So in this session, I am going to cover introduction, concept of energy band, conducting materials in nanostructure, carbon nanostructure, carbon molecules, carbon cluster, and I will conclude this session. Now, first point, energy bands in nanostructure. Now, first of all, try to understand the meaning of energy band and then I will discuss what is the nanostructure, or it is very easy to understand the nanostructure with the help of different energy band. So, first of all, I will consider three categories of the material. So, according to classification of the material, first, material can be classified as a conductor. Again, I can say some materials belongs to the class of semiconducting state, whereas some material will act as a perfect insulator. Now, how to identify the difference between conductor, semiconductor, and insulator? So that is totally depend on the number of electrons depends or present in the conduction band. So here, if you are observing the energy band for conductor, then here two bands are present. One is valence band, whereas another one is conduction band. So observe the more number of electrons are present here in the conduction band. That's why that material will act as a perfect conducting material. Now I am moving towards the semiconductor. So if I am considering the semiconducting material, then there is some band gap is present in between conducting band and valence band. Okay, as well as very less amount of electrons are present in the conduction band. So such material will act as a semiconductor because very few amount of electrons are present in the conduction band, which help us to flow of current. Now, moving towards the insulators, and in insulating material, if you are observing these two bands, one is conduction, whereas another one is valence band. Now, observe the number of electrons present in the conduction band. There are no electrons which are present in the conduction band. That's why such material will act as an insulator and they are not helping us to flow of current. But our side by side we can observe the band gap which is present in the insulating material, and that band gap is too much large in which is present inside a insulators or insulating material, whereas if you are observing the band gap of semiconducting material which is quite less as compared to the insulator, but in case of conductor these two bands are overlapping each other and there are more number of electrons which are present in the conduction band. That's why such material will act as a conductors. In semiconductors, few number of electrons are present in a conducting state, whereas in insulator no electrons are present in the conduction band. Now if I want to increase the conductivity of such semiconductor or insulating material, then some amount of doping can be done on semiconducting material so that we can increase the conductivity of the semiconducting material. Means I can add some amount of other material, or by providing the heat treatment or temperature, what will happen? Some electrons which are present in the valence band, they will move in a conduction band and conductivity inside a semiconducting material will get increased. Such type of electron transfer can be takes place inside a insulating material, but chances are very few to transfer the electrons from valence band to conduction band in insulating material. And based on these energy bands, we can classify the material as a conductor, as a semiconductor, or as a insulator. Now, the same can be explained with this another diagram in which you can clearly say for a conductor there is a perfect overlapping between valence band and conduction band. This is the region in which conduction band is get overlapped with the valence band and more number of electrons are present in the conduction band, and that's why conduction will takes place inside a conducting material. For semiconducting material, some gap is present in between these two bands. Whereas for insulating material, large band gap is there in between valence band and conduction band. Now, the gap between these two bands is known as a Fermi level. What is Fermi level? Fermi level is the highest energy state occupied by an electron in the material at absolute zero temperature. Okay, remember this definition of the Fermi level. So Fermi level is the highest energy state occupied by an electron in a material at absolute zero temperature. So Fermi level is an important parameter in the energy band. The position of the Fermi level with relation to the conduction band is an important factor to determine the electrical properties of an material. Here again I will discuss the conducting or metals, then semiconductors and insulators. Here I have shown the same diagram for the conducting material in which you can observe here it is a conduction band, here it is a valence band, and Fermi level is shown with the help of arrow which is a overlapping region. So we know that metals are good conductor of electricity, and this is indicated by an overlap of the valence band and conduction band so that the small fraction of valence electron can move through the material easily as there is a overlap is present, so small or some electrons are able to move from valence band to conduction band, and that electron will help us to flow of charge or flow of current, and that's why conductivity of conducting material is high. Now I will discuss the semiconducting material. So this is the energy band diagram for the semiconducting material, and here I am having valence band and here conduction band. If you are observing these two bands, then some band gap is present in between these two bands which is denoted with the help of some Fermi level, and we know that for semiconducting material at absolute zero temperature there will be a no conductivity, but as if we are increasing the temperature or at highest temperature some valence electrons are able to move in a conduction band and they will increase the conductivity of semiconducting material. This is one factor, means effect of temperature on the conductivity of semiconducting material. Now next, there is one more factor, that is doping. As we are adding the doping factor in the semiconducting material, again that doping material will help to shift some electron from valence band to conduction band, and again there will be an increase in conductivity inside a semiconducting material. Examples of semiconducting materials are silicon and germanium. Now move towards the insulator or insulating material. So this is the diagram which shows the energy band for insulating material. So large energy gap is present in between valence band and conduction band for the insulator or insulating material. Now we can say there are no electrons which are present in the conduction band. That's why conductivity is almost zero inside the insulating material. But sometimes it may happen that by adding some impurity or by increasing temperature of that material, some electrons can able to transfer from valence band to the conduction band. So for an example, if you are having a glass, then glass is an insulating material which may be transparent in nature, but by the addition of small amount of chromium, the impurity results into a pink red color of the glass material. Okay, so in this way small changes are being takes place by adding impurity inside a insulators or insulating material. After studying the energy bands in conductor, insulator and semiconducting material, now we will move towards the nanotechnology. Now, what do you mean by nano? Nano means 10 raised to minus 9. Now, if I am having any element or a particle and which is scaled or zoomed up to its smallest particle, or it is divided up to one tenth of its original size, then after scaling up to one tenth, then that size of that particle is known as a nanomaterial or nanoscale. Now that particles may be or nanomaterials may be naturally available or they can be artificially designed in the laboratories. Now, what will happen if I am scaling some particles up to its nano level, then that material changes its property and that changed behavior or property of that material is used in different applications of engineering. That can be used in electrical or electronics engineering or in any other field. When we are scaling any material up to its one tenth scale, then obviously it is going to change its physical, chemical, mechanical, or all property of that material, and we can take benefit of such changed property of that material. So, for an example, if we are considering copper at a normal state, then we know that copper is non-transparent in nature and it is conducting. Whereas, if we are scaling that copper particle to its one tenth and then we are observing its property, then the copper material will become transparent. This is the change which is takes place inside a material when we are scaling a material up to its nano level. Now again, if you are considering the case of platinum, then platinum at nano level the platinum will become inert to catalytic. Means inert to catalytic means what? Now at normal level platinum is inert in nature, whereas at its nano level, the platinum material becomes catalytic in nature. After that, aluminum, if we are observing the aluminum, then it is stable at a normal condition. But if you are scaling this aluminum to its nano level, then it will become combustible in nature. Similar case is applicable for gold. Gold is solid at a normal case, but when we are observing its nano level properties, then it is acting as a catalyst in nature. Also, it is we are considering the case of silicon, then silicon is perfect, or it we can say that it may be insulator or semiconducting material, but at nano level it is acting as a conducting material. This change is takes place inside a material when we are observing the property of any material at its nano level, and we can take advantages of such changed properties at its nano level, and this concept is used to design a particular equipment, and that technology is known as a nanotechnology. After studying the nanotechnology, now we will move towards the next concept, carbon molecule. So we know that carbon is having four valence electron which can be shared with the other material or molecule, or it can donate four electrons from the valence shell, or it can accept the four electrons in the valence shell and it will get stable. That's why in nature we will observe more molecules are in the combination with the carbon material. Now what is molecule? A molecule may consist of an atom of single chemical element, okay, that may be like oxygen, hydrogen, or it is formed by different elements like water, that is the H2O. Okay, so this is an molecule. Or atoms and complexes connected by a covalent bond such as hydrogen bond or ionic bond are not considered as a single molecule. Okay, means if you are having ionic bond or covalent bond or multiple atoms, then it is not considered as a single molecule. No typical molecule can be defined for ionic crystal and covalent crystal. Okay, so if I am considering the ionic crystal or covalent crystal, then we cannot identify the particular or typical molecule in this case. Now let's talk about the carbon. So carbon is a very short-lived species. Why? Because it is having four electrons in its outermost shell. That's why it is very short-lived species, and therefore the carbon is stabilized in various multi-atomic structure with different molecule configurations called as allotropes. Means due to four electrons in valence shell, it is easy to transfer, accept, or form a covalent or ionic bond with the other molecule and to achieve the stable structure, or it will get stabilized in the multiatomic structure. Okay, and that form is known as allotropes of the carbons. Now, some reputed or well-known allotropes of the carbon material is carbon, graphite, and diamond. Okay, so it will get stable by converting this carbon material into its allotropes, and these are the examples of some allotropes of the carbon material, that is graphite or diamond. And we know that practically graphite is having different nature or diamond is having different physical properties. One is conducting in nature, whereas another one is insulating in nature. Likewise, there are different properties of allotropes of the materials are there, and this carbon material plays an important role in the nanotechnology based material. Okay, conclusion for the today's session is, hence we have understand the properties and applications of nanomaterials in electrical or electronics engineering. Means yet we have not discussed too much applications in this session, but in actual lecture I am going to explain multiple applications of nanotechnology based materials in the electrical appliances. Thank you.